net metering for rooftop solar PV systems for the state of Maharashtra in India. Mr. Sudhir Budhay, a social activist in solar power field, realized the need of connectivity guidelines below 1 megawatt in 2012 as there was no regulation in force that time. He filed a PIL with MERC on 28th June 2013, which was admitted as case number 86 of 2013, heard and finalized on 25th November 2013. As per MERC orders, a committee was formed with representatives from all DISCOMs, SLDC, consumer representatives, MEDA, technical consultant, and petitioner Mr. Sudhir Budhay under the chairmanship of Mr. Varade, Director Electrical MERC. Technical and commercial aspects were discussed in depth, studied regulation of other states, and final report was submitted on 23rd July 2014. The draft was available to public for filing objections up to 31st March 2015 and final notification was rolled out on 16th September 2015. For benefit of common persons, let us explain the benefits and need of net metering. Solar power can be generated effectively only between 9 am to 4 pm. Lot of consumers, typically home segments, hotels, hospitals, malls, need major power in the evening. In case of these consumers, if they want to go in for solar power, they need to use off-grid systems which are with batteries which have their own limitations. Hence, there was a need of regulation which would allow consumers to go on-grid. Now, let us understand what is net metering and how it works. You can generate extra power over and above your actual need during daytime on your rooftop and deposit the same to the grid like you deposit cash in the bank. Now, when you draw power from your utility grid, you will be charged only for the excess amount of power drawn by you. To give you an example, suppose you generate 10 units in a day in the daytime and deposit it in the grid and you draw say 12 units in the night, you will be charged only for 2 units. Here are some important points from regulation for your ready reference. All consumers of electricity in Maharashtra who wish to go green are eligible to avail this scheme. But all consumers cannot be allowed to go in for net metering. The limitation is the capacity of the distribution transformer of your DISCOM which feeds power to you. Solar injection to a maximum of 40% of the transformer capacity can only be connected. This sanction will be on first come first serve basis for a given transformer and the information of available capacity will be made available on the website of DISCOM. Consumers will have to pay Rs 500 as registration charges up to 5 kilowatt and Rs 1000 above that. Second limitation will be the capacity of the transmission line laid from your distribution transformer to your premises. Hence, the capacity of the power plant will be restricted to your sanctioned load. If you have a sanctioned load less than 8 kilowatt, you can grid tie at 230 volts single phase. If you have a sanctioned load which is more than 8 kilowatt and is less than 150 kilowatts for municipal corporation areas or 80 kilowatt in other locations, you are permitted to have grid tie at LT 3 phase, that is 415 volts. However, if you are a bigger consumer than this, you have to grid tie at 11 kV level. All HT consumers with their private transformers can grid tie at LT level, but the net meter will be on the HT side. In case you have large premises with multiple buildings, You can go in for multiple small plants on individual building, but the aggregate generation should not exceed your sanctioned capacity. If you already have a PV setup, you can register the same or also upgrade the same to the sanctioned limit. DISCOM has authority to disconnect the PV system if it is not performing to the specified standards or has a threat of any accident. Cost of net meter will be to your account. REC benefits cannot be claimed under this scheme. If you are an obligated entity, you can claim RPO, Renewable Power Obligation, but the cost of generation meter will be to your account. In case you are not, then RPO will be claimed by DISCOM. The agreement will be valid for 20 years, but it can be terminated with 30 days notice on either side. Let us see how energy accounting will work. After you pay for the net metering and sign the connectivity agreement with the DISCOM, your present energy meter will be replaced by net meter. DISCOM will show energy imported and exported by the consumer separately. Net quantum of units will be billed to the consumer if the consumption is more than the generation. In case you had holidays and consumption is given of the given period is less than generation, the extra units shall be carried forward to the next billing period. This system will continue till the financial year end, and the extra power, if any, shall be purchased by DISCOM at the average pooling price approved by MERC for that year. For consumers who have TOD, that is time of the day tariff, initial quantum of energy generated will be adjusted within the same time block, and any extra power generated will be treated as if it is generated during off-peak hours. Excess amount of power purchased by DISCOM shall be credited immediately in the first bill of the next financial year. Let us see the application process as prescribed by MERC. Consumer will file application form online or offline and pay registration fees. DISCOM will acknowledge the receipt within 3 days. DISCOM will study the technical feasibility within 15 days and either accept or reject the application within 15 days, giving reasons and giving notice of 15 days to the applicant to rectify the technical shortcomings. When found technically feasible, DISCOM will convey approval within 7 days. Applicant will get a period of 6 months to complete the work, submit test report and other details with a request for commissioning. DISCOM will complete testing within 10 days and shall install net metering equipment and sign agreement with the consumer. This graph shows DNI data for Nagpur in India. Please note there will be a fall in generation for 4 months from June to September every year. Solar setup requires an investment of about 75,000 to 1 lakh per kilowatt. It requires 125 to 150 square feet of shadow-free space on your rooftop per kilowatt depending upon the orientation of your building. 1 kilowatt will typically generate 1500 units per year. You can claim 80% accelerated depreciation in income tax, but we suggest you to check the rules applicable to you before making any buying decision. Disclaimers. Active solar power can only be generated during 6 to 8 hours in a day. Generation of PV modules keep degrading 1 to 1.5% every year. Shadow on the PV module will affect generation drastically. Please visit www.mercindia.org.in to download the gazette for this regulation. You can visit us at www.balgo.co.in or write to us on solar.products@balgo.com. Thank you.